Mr. Philip Armstrong, it's a great pleasure to have you here with us on Vitv channel. As you know, Vietnam has made a lot of efforts in developing corporate governance, but the capacity has been really limited. What are the reasons for this?
I think the first and foremost is, Vietnam has only been in the market economy for a very short period of time. So a lot of the legal traditions, a lot of the sort of governance practices and things like that are still things that have been mastered in the sort of more developed or more advanced economies over the last 150 years, whereas Vietnam's only been in the economy for a short time, and it has to absorb a huge amount. I mean, if you think of the progression we've made from the early 1900s to where we are.
What do you think are the key challenges to improving corporate governance in Vietnam at the moment?
There's a couple of areas you can probably identify. One is board professionalism, the need to have directors who really understand their role as a director of a company as distinct from being a manager or a government official or something like that, and understanding the complexities of being a director of a company and how they should conduct themselves in that role as distinct from the other roles that they may have other than being a director. Because an effective board of directors will lead to an effective company and then will lead to a more stronger economy and more attraction for investors. The second one, of course, goes hand in hand, and that's the whole concerns around state-owned enterprises. State-owned enterprises are such an important part of the economy and also a very large part of the stock exchange listings. It's an area that is of concern both to international as well as domestic investors. I think it's an area that needs to be possibly strengthened and reviewed. Third one would probably be the regulators themselves. You know, Vietnam has the laws, or even though some of the laws might be a bit out of date, but the laws are there. The real challenge is the enforcement of those laws on a consistent basis. In other words, that it's applied equally to all companies, to all directors. The second one is providing more clarification in the market as to how they interpret the laws that they enforce. And the third one is for the regulators to get more independence in how they exercise their judgment.
You have mentioned a very key issue, that is state-owned enterprises. They account for a big part of the economy, but they have a big problem with corporate governance. What can be done to improve the business management within this kind of sector?
One of the big problems you have in the state sector, particularly in a transition economy like Vietnam, is retaining talent. So very talented people tend to go to the private sector because there's more money there, very often there's more prestige there. The second one is probably looking at the processes and structures under which the state-owned companies operate, and to encourage as best as they can more independent and professional directors, which might mean bringing in some directors who are established in the private sector. It might even mean bringing in some foreign directors to sit on state-owned companies.
IFC report showed that Vietnam is lagging behind other regional countries in terms of corporate governance, and what should be done from relevant sides to improve this issue?
Well, I think the corporate governance is a lot about trust. Corporate governance is fundamentally accountability and transparency. Accountability, that you have a board of directors that recognizes its responsibilities to management and to the shareholders and to the communities in which the company operates. So, and they are transparent about the challenges and decisions they make, or the challenges they face and the decisions they make. And an investor then gets a better view of the people who run the company. They can trust them, and then of the results, which must have a high level of integrity, so they know they can rely when they receive a financial report from the company. They know it's reliable. They know they can place an investment decision against that because information has integrity. Those are the key issues.
And thank you so much for joining our program today.
Thank you very much.